All right. Fingers crossed that this doesn't break. I'll try to keep an eye on it. Because the problem is, it breaks but doesn't tell me. Like, it's not like there's a noise or something that's like, yo, this broke. So sometimes I'll be streaming for a while. And all of a sudden it's like, nah, brah. Your ish is frozen. So we got more Raptors to work on. Chaos Lord, cool. Sky Seer, cool. Huntmaster, cool. I'm actually kind of thinking the Huntmaster might be an alternative leader, which would make this probably one of the, in my opinion, conceptually worst kill teams. If there's like 3 leaders you have to kind of go between, and then backfill with like specialists and units. But I'm hoping that the Huntsmaster ends up just being like a regular old dude. Like, you're gonna have 2 different two-handers in the squad. We got the champion from yesterday. I don't know where the stream cut out is the problem. And then the screamer from before, which we might work up a little bit today, actually, because I am gonna green stuff some things potentially, because we got to do the mutant now. Which means we need to make some determinations. I got the wings from the chaos spawn, so that works. These will be kind of coming out of his backpack. But then we got to figure out sort of what we want to do with the arms. I know his legs are supposed to also be mutated, but I mean, we don't have anything, I don't think, like that. Like, we don't have mutant legs. At least I don't think we do. We do need a demon head, though. Or maybe an alternative type head. We could also lean into the sort of blend that we're trying to pull from with the Ozark Bone Reapers, the I can never remember the AOS names of things. The Death faction, the ghosts, because we got a lot of parts. We got so many parts for them left over that we're actually probably very able to like make maybe a more interesting like ghost kind of situation. Sadly, all the legs are in use, it looks like. But I wonder if we could do the 3-sided skull for his head. thinking. Plotting, planning. So one idea is utilizing a lot of green stuff. We could have him kind of like this be his lower body, and then the green stuff kind of comes up from here in a wave to make up his midsection. Utilize this guy maybe around back. I thought I had more of these. Ooh, ideas. Maybe this could be like a leg. This is a struggle, because the moment I pick something here is like, that's it. If I cut the leg at the knee and I try to combine it with this, like, that's it. If it doesn't look good, then that's me losing a base of a person I can make. Oh, the struggles. Maybe we try to do the two-handed axe guy first. Because, I mean, that's kind of the real struggle. Try the two-handed axe first. Feels like it'll just be easier. check his visuals because I can't remember if they considered him like a regular Raptor or if they gave him the wing upgrades. I think they gave him the wing upgrades. Raptor kill team. 151 drop frames, not good. Yep, he's got the back wings. That's fine. Still kind of in the air about the Warp Talon. Like, if I need more than one. Because I'm not sure if they're both going to be considered warrior class. I remember one of the variants of Raptors was actually kind of cool. I think it was after the initial, like, 3rd edition Raptors, the ones that had, like, the shower curtain rod on their back that had the wings go across it, which looked really weird. I think the second variant, which I want to say was still in pewter, was really cool. Their backpacks were kind of like tube vented. It was in a similar fashion to this, but it was a little bit longer on the bottom, and then the top had these two like hoods that went forward, looking like it pulled the air in from the front and then shot it out back, which is what made them leap forward the way that they do. And I think that was a really cool design. I kind of like the two twin jetpack, like jet engines attached to the backs. That's also really cool. But I don't know, the hood design, there was kind of a level to it of like ingenuity with the engineering. Stylistically, it was more focused on the idea of like vented slotting, like the vertical slotting for the air to get pulled into rather than the spinning turbines. I forgot the toes. Let me try to pick this up a little bit, since I like working a little closer to me. There we go. it crashes again, I wonder if it's because of the double music layer. I feel like that's when all this crashing started, is that I'm running 3 audio track sections. I'm sending 2 to Twitch, 1 to YouTube, which that's a lot of encoding. Oh, we need the feet. Need to give him the toesies. I think after we get a couple of these done, I might go offline for a minute and then go back live over on Twitch in particular. We'll play some Dispatch. And then maybe some Ball X Pit. I don't know. Just get a little gaming in a day.
Poggers.
Bam. Ugh, phlegmy. Oh, what's up, Kobold? Breaking the silence. So we're working now on the Predator. The Raptor conversion to have the two-handed axe. Potentially. I don't know. I'm still debating kind of exactly how to do this. And then technically all we need to do... Nah, I don't want a double chain axe. So in a similar fashion to my Huntsman, or the Huntmaster... Oh god, I gotta fix that. We're probably gonna lean into the Bone Reaper parts that I've got. Who messaging me? No, person probably trying to buy the house. Block and report, yes. These are for later. So what we were thinking is to grab one of these halberds. I can carve this part down where the second hand is. And I think we're just going to have him have it. He's not like, I don't think I want him to two-hand it, is like my thing. I think I want him to have it in like one hand and kind of like maybe hold it behind. Kind of like an action pose. But that means we're going to have to work up the other hand to not have anything in it. Which means I'm going to probably need to look into and see what kind of side hands we have. You working on anything fun, Kobold? Got anything on the docket? Oh, what'd you order? Or are you talking more like work? My buddy's birthday is coming up. And part of me was debating, trying to figure out if I could get my hands on all the Necron stuff he had for his higher tech kill team to build it and paint it for him. Because I know he keeps talking about wanting to do it and then he just never does it. Oh, you're getting a box knot? Wait, which kind of box knot? Space Marine box knot? Nice. Thought you were about to tell me the old pewter Chaos Space Marine Dreadnought. I'm pretty sure they eventually went to plastic in like 5th. And that was the one I had 3 of, because they were actually really cool. Yo, did you see the thing I posted in the Discord? I don't know if you were around for it. The Furby knot? I think you did, right? You saw the Furby knot? Come on, man. You got a mecha Furby. You can do it, I believe. Teach it to say WOG. Here comes the WOG. Map. That'd be the best thing ever. Alright. So now the trick is, can I get a hand that maybe I can extend down? Or do I have to just be ready to extend forward like this? Oh, try to build a GSC truck. Those are fun. Oh, I got the hand. I got it. I got the arm at least. I don't have the hand for the other arm. So, still gonna need to figure that out. You want to... Oh. Like, hang on. Yeah. Multiple part thing here. The wheels were 2 parts each. Every railing is a separate part. This front component is like 3 layers. That's separate. All like the little hooks and hangs. This rail was ridiculous. There's stuff behind here. This is a separate part. Separate. Like, all the little components. Okay, so the chains, separate. This, separate. So you have to sort of line it up how you think. Because these chains don't connect. Like, in a spot. You have to kind of pick. So I decided I wanted it to be flat, which means the chains connect there. But you could pick it up further, so the chains connect higher. I have 2 of these. And if you want to get worse... These are all individual. And you have to stack them in a very specific way or they won't go together. One of the benefits, though, of this truck, this sits on pretty easily. Which means you can store the other guns down here. super annoying. I don't even play GSC. I should. With how much I am annoyed at, like, how the Thousand Suns work right now, I should really be playing GSC. GSC is a bit too big brain, although there is a sort of like an Unga Bunga play that they have. It's kind of their standard competitive structure, where you have a bunch of small flamer squads. I think you get like 3 or 4 of them. And then you do 1 Gene Stealer squad for distraction, and then a bunch of the big guys in trucks. And the whole thing is, you sort of lock someone in their side. You send Gene Stealers in like right away. You rush them in, and you're just annoying in someone's face. Like, that's the whole purpose of you. The Gene Stealers will probably die, but around the time they die, you should also have a bunch of like the little flamer Gene Stealer guys. Like, they should be close to dead. Against Gene Stealer cults, the thing you want to do is not kill everyone in a squad. You kind of want to force them to have one guy left and have to do something to become like the, oh, now I can bring my guy back situation. So like, you have to force them to do it, because it cuts the pacing. Yeah, GSC is just pure pressure. You just go. And then you have all of your big guys get to the objectives, hop out of the trucks, and then while your army is pressuring someone in a corner, they come running out of the buildings to get into position while the trucks do all the work. I need shoulder pads, which I'm running dangerously low on extra shoulder pads now that I've been looking into it. The issue is I bought a ton of, for my Legionaries, I bought a ton of Havocs. And if you're unfamiliar, a lot of the Havoc arms are like pre-shoulder padded. So I didn't get as many shoulder pads as I wanted out of the Havocs boxes. I overused my Legionary box that I bought for shoulder pads to like make up for it. So now we're just kind of running out. Yeah, but the thing is, imagine you have an orc squad that runs up and pressures and then dies. Its whole purpose is to die. So you run in, you do that, you do the thing, and you're like, yeah, we did it. And then you pay an amount of points on a side pool of numbers to bring them back. Because the Games Workshop overall felt like paying command points to bring back squads that die is a little bit like, like it's a little too strong. But then GSC is just built around it. GSC is one of the few armies that's like, nah, they're coming back again. I'm bringing them back one more time. And it keeps happening. No, yeah, and that's like, this sucks because that feeds further into my issue with the Thousand Suns. GSC is built around bringing multiple units back from the dead, so they kept it. Thousand Suns were meant as a small elite force to stack buffs and bonuses, risk loss of health, but having to overcommit to make sure the spells will go off during that process to win. And then they got rid of all of that. And they were just like, no. And now they have nothing. So it's like, like, why couldn't they take a book out of the end result for GSC and just go like, yeah, this works. This is how it should be. Should give him this. Just a big old Demon Prince weapon. Rawr. Like, a lot of the games I play, it is very, oh, let me grab this. It is very clear when you're playing it, like, okay, the core of the game is that here's your base rules. Kill Team does this all the time, which is why I love Kill Team. Here's the rules. Here's people who break the rules. And that's it. And their rule breaking helps. Sometimes they overstack, like Canoptic. And sometimes they get it right a lot. Sometimes they get it like actually right. And it's like really enjoyable to play those teams and against them. So you get like fun stuff because it's, oh, well, you can't do this unless. But then you go to 40k, like Big Hammer, and then you'll have armies that are that way, and those are the fun ones to play, right? Like, oh, well, you have to do this unless you're a Space Marine, and then you can mark them with this for free, and, you know, you get your rerolls, you get your pluses, and it's cool. And it's like, oh, that's a cool way to work around all that stuff. That's fun. And it's all of that over there, and then you're like, oh, and then the Thousand Suns, and it's like, well, what do they do? And they're like, nothing. They used to have combos. We got rid of them. It's like, why? Everyone else does. The amount of times I've played against someone and they're just like, here's the 4 things that are going off right now that are going to make this one tiny squad worth 60 points kill your 400-point squad. And it's like, wow, that's a lot of cool stuff. I wish I had any of it. And like, knowing that, I am trying to look into it to be like, all right, well, what could I do? You know, like, what's the new meta? What's the new path? And I don't know. I have no idea what the new meta or path is for K-Suns and 40k. Because they're just getting rid of everything. So I feel like the core of it is going to just become las cannon predators, because those have the best built-in rules for killing vehicles. And then that's it? Like, just a boatload of stuff to just go stand on points, but have no functionality to hold those points. I don't, and like none of what I said really gets help from detachments that much. I looked at the last meta Monday, and the Thousand Sun army doing the best right now is the armored division for Thousand Suns. Yo, Tzeentch demons, did they remove they didn't remove the soul grinders yet, right? Someone was saying they were getting rid of soul grinders. But the last I checked, the soul grinders were still around. Because the Tzeentch specific demon detachment, so good. Because the way you play it is you've got your Kairos, maybe you got like one other bird, and then you have 2 soul grinders. And then you just fill out the rest with like screamers and whatever you can to like move around the board a lot. And then a couple squads pinks. That kind of stuff. Because those do have some sustain power if you get rid of enough. So that's kind of cool. But the whole concept is the soul grinders are demons. And the Tzeentch demon detachment explicitly says if you spend a command point and then pay a coin, you can uppy downy 2 demon units. Like, you can just do that. Even if they're in close combat. So you can literally have soul grinders sit on points, get all the bonuses that the squad gets. I think like -1s get handed out usually. And then you just pick them up whenever you feel like it and just put them down in other places. They're so cool. They're a better model than the Defiler. I like their leg armor way better than the Defiler. Okay, I got 1 shoulder pad so far. Defilers definitely. Soul Grinders kind of. Soul Grinders have the update that would make Defilers look kind of cool. Well, the Defiler they do have base sizes. The base sizes were put in. They say you don't have to do it because the box doesn't come with it, but my Defiler that I have, explicitly because I built it custom, I decided to give it a base just in case someone complains. We need one more freaking shoulder pad. Freaking lasers. Oh, I do have a mutant leg. Do I have another mutant leg? Oh, I found the other shoulder pad. We might be able to combine my Gene Stealer parts. Neat. Yeah, I've got these are the Gene Stealer parts from the Necromunda ones, the radiated ones. So we've got this, which we could probably put on a base. Maybe. Yeah, I still have one Malstrain Gene Stealer that I didn't need to put together. So if we can find a way to attach, maybe trim this down and attach this leg somehow. Problem is the size of it, because the Malstrains are pretty big. Yeah, so I'm thinking Malstrain legs and maybe some Malstrain arms for the Curse Claw. With some of the little the Chaos Spawn wings for its little back wings. This is why keeping parts is a good idea. Like, I could have just like thrown away the extra Malstrain I didn't need. Like, but here we are. I might get rid of the little Batman arm blades. They're getting in the way. I'm Batman. Yeah, like, I got a bunch of Hearthkin weapons. And I've always thought, like, if somebody was playing orcs and was like, man, I need some looted weapons for my gun looters. Like, I have the orc bodies, but I need some, like, weapons so I can make this squad so I don't have to buy the squad. I'd be like, yo, maybe you guys looted some Hearthkin. Get yourself a rail rifle. And some ion weaponry. Gotta get some plastic in that wrist area. Sprugoo! Back down, bring it back down tonight. Thankfully, the rest of what we're about to build is all like mono-parted, not really. There's no real need for like way too much extra crap, which is good. So I had to burn like a lot of shoulder pads and stuff for all the magnetized components with like this older stuff. So with the last 5, I should have enough shoulder pads, just general, to like look like general Raptors, which is important. That's like the key thing for this. Now, if I can find an interesting left arm. Oh, dip. We're getting into the classics over on Twitch. Blue dabu dee dabu die. Okay, this kind of works. Maybe. I don't know. know what. There should be some open palms in my Emperor's Children collection. Oh, I found one. Don't think it's the right side, though. Yeah, that's the right hand. I think the open palm is mostly the right hand. Yeah. Save that one for later. Worst case scenario, we just trim a bolt pistol off a hand. Which is probably what I'm leaning towards right now. Probably what we're gonna do. I think we'll use this on the Curse Claw. It's a nice helmet. I think this is from the Noise Marine collection. Okay. Double checking the parts. Bolt pistols do not look good to use the hands for. They're like so connected. Maybe this chainsword though. Which it's a nice looking chainsword. It's kind of an action pose. In before it comes out that he has a bolt pistol, and I could have just put a bolt pistol in his hand. Behold. The Predator. With his big old two-handed axe. Alright. So, Curse Claw, and then literally 4 standard Raptors. Just 2 Raptors, 2 Warp Claws. Because I'm assuming, yet again, that Warp Claws, you'll be able to take more than 1. Now, granted, if you consider that this elite team should be 6, including the champion. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is it. The Curse Claw would make it 6. So in theory, like, this is... Unless they do something weird about how to build them, this is all you would need with the Curse Claw once we get it done. And then supposedly, it would be like minus Champion and minus Curse Claw, I guess, in that situation, to run the Lord. Because it would be a 5-man at that point. So, like, kind of done? Sort of? But yeah, let's get into this Curse Claw. Let's do it. Okay. Is there a way? Where I can do the mouse strain legs. I think the cut would be at the knee. The trick is, I would really want... I'd want it to be like here. Which means I'd want this to get cut off. Then we would need to match like a leg pattern to this. Then we got the other leg as well. This is gonna be crazy. Again, that's even if I want to do that. It's a cool idea. But because of how these legs are designed, I don't know if I'll be able to cut them well enough to make it, like, work. Maybe at the ankle? We could maybe do the ankle. I feel like this isn't everything. There's got to be a component I have to attach to this. Nope. No. These are the legs meant for it. See, I let it overhang here because screw it. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we hollow out the ankle bit. And then green stuff this ankle into the ankle bit. Here we go. No turning back. Get this other one done. Need to cut it without wrecking too much of the leg itself. So we'll get the ball of green stuff there. Second ball of green stuff on the other side. Alright, green stuff, don't be dried out. I am running very low on green stuff. And I don't exactly want to go get more, because, like, I don't know how much more I'm ever going to need. And if you get it too early, sometimes it dries out before you even really get to use it. I've done pretty well at keeping it not dry. I should probably also put the backpack together so I can green stuff the wings on. Never wanna, I don't ever wanna be, yeah. Alright. I feel like this is too much. What's up, J. Peacock? Oh, this actually works out. Holy crap. Oh man, I never saw those balances coming. I'm so glad that they took the time to make me go on their site, see the mandrakes go yellow, and go, wait, did they actually change something? My brain keeps hitting me with, this is the last specialist you need to convert. And it makes me happy every time I think it. It's like, yes! We did it. Which means painting will be around the corner. This actually doesn't look bad. The Malstrain feat. Yeah, it's mostly the smoke grenades. We actually probably don't even need to negatively glue this thing. Can't remember if resin or plastic. Pretty sure plastic. Alright. We have green stuff on the block, so I need to get a backpack together. That's a big one. Because we got to glue the mini wings coming out of it. It's still not enough, though. The balance is. I mean, end of the day, I'm not even kidding. It will be disappointing when a Canoptic wins Worlds. Like, you know it's going to happen. One of two things is going to happen. Canoptics wins Worlds, which makes me like, or one of the really good players comes back in with a random like side team no one's ever played or doesn't really play a lot and just dominates. Takes out like 4 Canoptic players without issue. Dude, if it ends up being Breachers, Pog. Wormblade would be great for like a Wormblade going out kind of situation. Like a, bye guys, it was fun. We're going to win Worlds real quick. But I think like there's only one player, right, that makes it to Worlds who would play Wormblade, and I don't know if he's playing Wormblade or Brood Brothers. It was the guy who all last season played Wormblade every single tournament and would always get to like 2nd or 3rd place. And every time he got there, it was always, if you talked to him about it, he was like, yeah, I mean, I did the same thing that should have worked, and then it just didn't work because the rolls didn't go my way, and that's how that works. And it's like, oh yeah. That's a dice game. Let me grab the wings. Where's the second wing? Where'd my second wing go? Oh, my Chaos Lord is just, I mean, the Chaos Lord's a Chaos Lord. The kit bash I did, these are AOS. These are the AOS weapons racks or victory trophy racks. So they're bigger than his, which, depending on map, won't be useful, but at the same time, it's fine. Yeah, for real though, where the hell is my second wing? Oh, there it is. I think for the hell of it, we're going to get rid of the side vent completely. So yeah, my Chaos Lord's just fine. The main conversions that you'll see out of, I guess, a person like me who's preempting trying to get the Raptors set, is the Huntsmaster, which was absolutely wild with me trying to get this pole to go flat so that he could have his pole weapon. And my Depredator, which wasn't that bad. When I found out that the Oziark Bone Reaper hands are about the same size as a Chaos Space Marine hand, you just cut it at the wrist and then attach it to the Raptor arm that already misses the hand. It's perfect. We just had to cut the chainsword off of this and then shape it a little bit to just be a hand without anything in it. So now we have my Depredator. The Screamer, we did the vents with pistol parts, which hopefully if I have enough green stuff left over after this, we need to wrap the green stuff around and then spread it a little bit. What up, Alexander? Hopefully OBS doesn't crash. OBS just got an update today. And the first thing in the list of stuff they changed were like, hey, we think we found a crash. And I was like, all right. Because we've crashed twice while streaming up till now, so it's doing well. We're at the 1.5 hour. I think it crashed at 2 hours prior to all this, so we'll see what happens. But once we get this Curse Claw done, that's it. We just need to make 2 Raptors, and then I'm going to make 2 Warp Talons. And then we'll be ready probably to paint, which will be fun. That'll be, I guess, maybe tomorrow, maybe. We do need to kind of look over some stuff, though, and assess what kind of conversions we really want to play into. I'm going 2 and 2 for Raptors and Warp Talons. Just because we have the bodies at this point. And the idea is that maybe, just maybe, the Raptor rules for like warrior rules might be useful enough. Because this is a thing not a lot of people really focus on, I think, in Kill Team, is the idea that standard warriors are actually really good. Specifically in usually scoring objectives. Like, specialists are great, that's cool, but if I were to run back any game with my Hyrotech, or not my Hyrotech, my Hearthkin, I would try to bring at least 3 warriors. Even though they have so many specialists that it's absurd, to a degree, there's a level where I feel like Hearthkin specialists are only so good. If you have too many, then you're doing too much for like, let me combo these 5 things together to get this to work. Let me hit you with the aggressive debuff AoE, and then I'm gonna hit you with anti-obscure spotting, and then I'm gonna hit you, and you just have to go down the list of like all the different guys until you can start shooting your gunners. And by that point in time, your opponent's scored all the objectives, has moved out of line of sight with almost everything they have, and what are you doing? Like, that, it's over. You've lost the game. Whereas if you just hyper-focus on, like, one thing, if you're like, alright, well, this map needs anti-obscuring, so done, anti-obscured. And then we're just gonna go, like, mostly warriors. Maybe the one that increases the APL. And then just warriors and gunners. Jetpack, depending on whether the map feels good for jetpacks. Because it is, like, the slowest moving jetpack. Which sucks. He was so hard to position. When I played the Vulcus map that I was testing this out on, I tried to position him where he could easily get to an objective or a person. And it just, I don't know, man. It didn't work. Like, I was looking around at all the spots he could move to, and it was like I couldn't put him anywhere that mattered. The lugger is good now. The lugger wasn't necessarily useful before, but now without the scouting phase, the lugger is actually really good. I think I burned my lugger too quick. Like, I had a play where I was trying to combo into stuff to get some damage downfield, and then it didn't work. And my lugger was last in line, so I just chucked my lugger at the objective, got the point, and then he died. We have a bot! Shaban. Alright. Curse Claw Wings. Brought to you by my Chaos Spawn. You could probably do some cool stuff, though, with the Curse Claw Wings, depending on what you have access to. I was looking around at some of the undead factions, since you have access to bats. Bats could be cool. And then our other assumption was that we could use some of the undead parts we have to potentially just turn them into, like, a ghost. And go with my ghost theming. But I think trying to figure out how to make him look like a proper mutant could end up working really well. Oh, dude, it would be cool because the core of their rules. The core of the Raptor rules is that apparently some of the units can pick people up and move them places. That would be like ideal Stormboy shenanigans. Just like showing up and picking someone up and running off with them. I love that concept. I feel like there's enough stuff in the game right now that's like, if you're on an objective, it's hard to shift you. But if I can just pick you up and move you somewhere else, I will gladly pull a Canoptic Court guy off of his frickin' Matrix node and then beat him up somewhere else so he doesn't get accurate too. Try and block his maneuvering so he can't get back to the node, so if he falls back, he has no options. No extra OC, or APL, rather. That would be, honestly, the one big nerf that they need would be, you can only get the extra APL at the start of your activation. If you start on the Matrix. So if somebody manages to misposition you, or you have to move the Matrix to make something else work and it screws over half your team, it's a downside. But the fact that you can like be off of it and then go to it and get an extra APL sounds absolutely bananas. Yeah, you could do a good Stormboy team. You could do... I mean, you could make like a regular Space Marine Assault Trooper team. Get some like Blood Angels or something. If the latest Hearthkin release... the latest like Votann release had the Hearthkin jump packs from the Salvagers team as like their own squad, that would have been hilarious. Make a squad of Nux like upgrades with like concussive claws or the concussive gauntlets and stuff, and just give them jetpacks. Be great. So the 2-map thing looks cool, but it is join ops. It would be cool to see it become like the full-on play mode, though. But it is interesting from what I saw. But it definitely does feel like just an NPO join ops thing for now. 2v2 maybe, but I don't know if you could 2v2. You'd have to 2v2 on a full-scale map. The way their maps are set up is you fold them in half and then you keep them apart from each other, and you have numbered tokens sitting where like the tunnels are that let you go to the sewer and then come back up kind of situation. And if you're going to 2v2, you probably can't half map. You probably have to full map and then figure out where those ways to go below and above would sit, which would be kind of cool. But for a lot of the skirmish games and small scale games that Games Workshop does, they're moving away from multiplayer for some reason, like 2v2 situations. Which I think kind of sucks, actually. Underworlds had 2v2, which sounded really cool. And then the new version came out and it like got rid of it completely. Although in 40K, the community is working really hard to start making multiplayer games like a thing. Like, me and my buddies are going to do a 2v2. I think next weekend, maybe. I have to figure it out. Because it's not this weekend, it would be next weekend. And I have the Kill Team tournament on Saturday or Sunday that weekend. So I'm going to have to, like, sort out when I need to go. Oh, Trench Crusade. I mean, people say it's good. But like, I watch a lot of, I think it's the Lords of War or whatever. The YouTube channel that they like work at a store and they talk about kind of the notion of how the gaming market's going and stuff like that. And they talk about games like Trench Crusade where the entire premise of it is, oh, go to the Kickstarter, you know, get the STLs, make it yourself kind of situation. And it's like, that's cool, but that also means you guys aren't really going to have like locales to go to. The casual crowd isn't going to find it and join in. And it's like sad because it's like it's not going to get as big as it should in order to give you guys a big enough community that you start having like the big events start popping up where, you know, oh, we're going to go to Trench Crusade at the Worlds tournament or something. Like, that's just the percent chance of that being a thing is so low just because of like the way they're approaching it. Although they have started to sell plastics, which I heard weren't that great. Like, a lot of people in our local Discord talk about they prefer the STL approach and that the plastic rollout was like really bad. And then someone was talking about how they were trying to get stuff in stores, which could be cool. Because that's stepping stone number 1. If you can do that, you're on your way, which is why I think War Machine's trying to get back into storefronts like they used to under the new ownership now. But we'll see. My buddy says it's fun to play. The new rules are pretty good. But I have not personally played it yet. I love the prospect of War Machine, because War Machine brought like an element into it of, oh yeah, you have to, you know, you have to go to this spot and you got to be in these positions because there's all these like side rules that let you do really cool stuff. Like, you had the ability to like grapple enemy vehicles and things. throw them places, cause damage. Like, you could take someone's vehicle if you had a high enough, like, grapple stat or whatever the hell the stat was that let you do it. And then, like, chuck them into one of their squads of people and, like, kill some people with their own robot. There was fun stuff in there. Alright, we gotta unsmooth this. So there's a little bit of that. Because as we talk about occasionally over here, Games Workshop does need solid, like, competition. It needs, like, straight up, we will keep them honest competition. I did. It's the Sisters of Battle you're playing as now. That's pretty cool. I played the first one. It was okay, but a lot of it does really lean into, like, boomer shooter nostalgia. Which, I mean, I played all the old Dooms. I played Hexen. So it was kind of cool for a little bit, but then my brain was like, why am I doing this? As I rebooted up Hell Let Loose. Probably the one big game I'm looking at now that could be cool, although it does look like co-op, which has the same problem for me as most, which is I don't really have friends that play a lot of the co-op games like we used to. Like, we used to play co-op games like fiends, but I think the last co-op game we played together as like a group was GTFO, and we only played it a little bit before my one buddy was like, man, I'd prefer it if the enemies were just like coming at us in constant waves and that we didn't have to do any like these side things or stealth around, which, I mean, that's the core of the game, is trying not to waste all of your ammunition fighting stuff you don't have to fight. So it just didn't really match what he was looking for at the time. And we haven't really played much since. This is almost reminiscent of like an old Raptor. Bolt Gun did okay. I don't know if they'll ever do it. They'll make like a mini for him. That's that frickin' cross-platformy stuff, though, that I've talked about occasionally. Games Workshop doesn't know easily how to deal with that. Like, I think they got a little lucky that there was a Space Marine game that came out at, like, Target and stuff around the time the video game came out. But that was, like, more luck than anything. Because that was, I think, the rehash of the already existing Space Marine game. That they sort of rebranded with Titus. Uh-oh. I did leave the cap off of this. Okay. Would be cool though. The guy that voiced that Space Marine over, what was it? I think he was the guy from iZombie, who was also in Midnight Mass, which was pretty cool. Thanks, Noise Marine Head, for fitting perfectly. Alright, the last bit of it. We need to figure out how we want to hook these. I think at the bicep, probably. To promote Vault Gun, they sent him, I think, yeah, he went to Tabletop Tactics, I want to say. He went to one of the YouTube channels that does battle reports to do a two-parter, I think. One where he built some stuff and painted it while learning about it. And then one where he played, I don't know who he played against. I think it was someone else that was new. I can't remember. Yeah, it was like, person who voices Space Marine learns about Space Marines. It was kind of funny because like he had that air about him while he was doing it, where when they're like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Oh, it's pretty cool," but it had that like element of just like, "Can't wait to go home and not do this anymore." We're going to use the power weapon arm as a base since we're not going to need it again. And then we have to do... kind of want to get an extended right arm. Yeah, we'll get this one. So if we cut it to the elbow, on both sides. You gonna be converting stuff up from the bundle boxes? Which one you getting? You gonna get the Terminator box and then just put a bunch of orc heads on them? Oh, the Tau box. dude, I love the Horus Heresy AdMech way more than I like 40k AdMech. Like, they really leaned into like the sci-fi body horror, like almost borderline necromancy, pretty hard on the Horus Heresy side of things versus the 40k. 40k, they tried to like clean it up too much. You know, cover up the whole like, well, we're gonna take your organs and convert you into something that we can control. That's our purpose. Horus Heresy was like, nah. Adding texture, scritches and scratches. Hard to put pressure on because the green stuff isn't set yet. Yeah, you just fill for the Orc Curse Claw. It's just all machinery. Big mech styling. Where's the other arm? Hell yeah. Mouse strain, baby. Okay. I'm actually super glad with how the Curse Claw came out. Yeah, you can get some good bionics out of it. I mean, you can also buy, like, not even, like, modeling stuff. Like, sometimes Home Depot has, like, tiny piping and stuff you can get that has, like, ribbed almost nature to it. That you could sort of wrap green stuff on things and then run the ribbed piping to look like it's coming out of it. Get that full bionic look. You can get some cool hardware stuff. That and, like, jeweler's chain. Brass rods and things. Get some full customized bionic function. Because I think if I made these like Iron Warrior Raptors, I probably would have done bionics too. For the Curse Claw. Yeah, you get those nice jeweler chains. Ooh. Get big old rolls of them. Curse Claw. Might have to work him up a little bit more, but we'll wait. I need that green stuff to like dry with that instance, so I don't have to mess with it too much more. But yeah. At this point, we're kind of just going to tear through. Two Raptors, two Warp Claws as my extras. Will be golden. Oh yeah, and that's what makes it fun. If you can customize your own stuff that still reads like what it needs to read as, and you can get those rules going, you have some fun with it. Like, I'm kind of interested in, if I can get a dog model, I think I have kind of the stuff I would need for the new Space Wolf box. Because I have all that Phobos stuff, which is sadly after Worlds going away, because I have a lot of Phobos. Back when they first were dropped, not a lot of people were playing them. They talked about how they had no like medium or heavy weapons, and it made them very difficult to use. So people just didn't want to play the Phobos at all because of that. And I just remember looking at the rules and going, oh crap, these guys are actually really good. They're really good to score with. They have a lot of really good basic abilities. Like, they're just nice. So I have literally a full Phobos collection. Which hopefully I can use in other ways. Regular Raptors. It's getting really warm down here. I'm still waiting for someone to play Iron Warriors, and they want a Demon Prince. Right? So they get the Saturnine. Like that Saturnine leader. That thing is the size of a Demon Prince. I remember everything leading up to the Saturnine release and how angry everyone was, and now that it's out, like, all I'm hearing are good things about Horus Heresy. It was just like the ocean of like, oh, it's gonna suck. And now it's here and everyone's like, yo, this is pretty good. Good thing we knew it was gonna be good this whole time. It's like, okay. This is weird. Raptor 1. Warp Claw 2. These are nice parts. I need to post up if anyone needs lightning claws. Raptor, the Raptor lightning claws are just great. I was there for the event that they did. I think it was the third War for Armageddon, where Gaz really got introduced for the Chaos, or for Orcs, as though he was like their Primarch. That was pretty cool. That was actually really hype. It was a big moment for a lot of us. Just because up to that point, the game did genuinely feel like, oh, it's Space Marines and Chaos, and that's pretty much it. And there's all these like side factions, but no one really cares. And it felt kind of bad. And then out of nowhere, they were like, they added so many races like over a short period of time. Like they added Tau, Necron, all in the short period of time that I was playing. And then I just remember out of nowhere, they were like, by the way, the Orcs have a big war boss now. It's like, oh, cool. We did it. I just wish in the modern system he was like way cooler. He seems very two-dimensional. Like, this is what he does it okay. Go. Alright, right arm. Left pistol arm. Left arm. Right pistol arm. Oh, My spine. Wouldn't have to bore these barrels out. Completely forgot we were doing that. All right, fully clipped. Now we just need to clean and glue. Oh, hoodie off, too warm. Freaking studio lights. I have not played Red Sect. Was someone in there named Kimmerix Project? I was debating downloading it, but like, I don't know. If John and Sean and all them need like a fourth or something, maybe I'll get it. This is the left hand. We're going to want to do a different one. I need to get a smaller gauge. We nailed it with the plasma pistol, but I think that was a slightly larger gauge. Last night I was trying to figure out the gameplay loop for Ball X Pit, like after the fact, because it seems like the main thing about Ball X Pit is trying to create a town that pretty much just works on its own. Oh, that's cool. What if someone's AI voicing me? I don't think I have an uncommon voice though. It's a bit monotone, a bit low. Did the person at least do well? I think the last time I played in a BR, I want to say it was Apex Legends. I picked it up just to like try it out and, you know, see where the updates had gone. And it was weird. It was the team I got on, like the squad I got in, one person was talking and they were like, they knew enough about like the game and the mechanics and callouts and stuff that I was able to work really well with them. And the third person we had on our team was like, I'm new and I'm suck at this game. And we won. Like, we won. And it was kind of funny because it was mostly just like the two of us doing call outs and like kicking everyone's asses. And this third guy who would occasionally like chime in like a funny joke. And get super excited if he got a kill. I watch a lot of streamers when I'm doing like side work. Like when I'm editing and stuff. So I watched the Chief 114 play. I watched a couple people play yesterday, and it's, So I know people are like, yeah, it's nothing like Call of Duty. I get that there's destruction on top of it, but I feel like almost every element of that game that I watch is just like, yeah, you can see that the people working on it worked on Call of Duty at some point. Simple barrel drills, that's perfectly fine. Because, yeah, they were just like jumping around, kick sliding, putting armor plates in, you know, very ADHD'd out. That kind of a game, it fits people, absolutely. But I am more interested right now in Arc Raiders, which Arc Raiders is kind of a funny thing, in my opinion now. Like, so when Arc Raiders was testing, I feel like they gave it to a bunch of content creators and people who like ambient games, like less of a game that's like, oh, you better have the right bullet caliber and upgrades on your guns or you're not gonna be able to harm anyone in this like that kind of stuff, that annoying as hell stuff for like no lifers and stuff from like Tarkov. And they just wanted to have like fun in an ambient world that was interesting, and it worked, and they loved it. And then they did the server slam, and the server slam was nothing but people in the Discord who were complaining so much about like the way the game felt and played. And to go from the people who played Arc Raiders on the smaller scale, because in that situation it was so much easier to run into someone and be like, yo, you want to run around together? And then they'd be like, yeah, man, hell yeah. And then that would be it. Like, they would just do that. And now in the server slam version, I think the common interaction you have if you catch someone off guard to be like, yo, you want to like run through this area real quick, is you see them like immediately start dive rolling around and trying to fumble for their weapon to kill you. And that's it. They don't say anything. It's super awkward. So like it kind of lost its luster. Versus, so it has had a lot of problems recently with server stability and stuff. They've patched it a few times. Hell Let Loose, I've played 3 games last week, which games in Hell Let Loose, if they're like a full length game, is like an hour and a half. And yeah, most of the ones I played ended up being an hour and a half. 2 of them were literally last minute victories. Like, we managed to get back to the middle point and take it over in the last like 3 minutes of the game. The squad I was on, constantly talking, constantly interacting, sending pings out, getting information, saying when we needed things. Like, dude, it was great. It was so good. Just the ambience, the conversation, all of it. It felt like good gaming. And it was cool because a lot of the people on the team, you could hear like they had pretty thick accents for a bunch of different languages. And it had that like weird camaraderie concept of like going to war with a squad of people who were maybe like from all over the world kind of situation. When you're playing support hiding in a bush and you see a tank go by and you're calling out like, yo, tank over here. And then our squad lead marks it up, and then you hear like our anti-tank guy in squad being like, with like a thick French accent being like, I'm going to take that tank's asshole. And just like, you see a missile come flying out of another bush and blow it up. And you're like, oh, sweet. This is awesome. It's just so fun. And I don't get that out of like, I tried playing Battlefield in its beta. Didn't get that in Battlefield. I've watched people play it. Same thing. Like, when we made the last push, it was so good. Our leadership managed to drop an airhead behind the middle point, which that's like a forward spawn point that you have to call in based on equipment and items you have. As it was happening, right? So it comes down. It comes down in the world, and our squad command starts going like, yo, command is freaking out. They want us to go to the airhead. Because if we don't, we lose. And it's going to suck. So let's do it. Let's try it. So all of us redeploy. As we get up on the airhead, I guess the people on our back line in the mortar section, because I guess we killed the recon squad that were holding them back, they were firing smoke mortars into the area. So like you're just seeing all these mortars coming down, creating clouds of smoke as we're just running through the woods down a hill to get to this like little trench area. Just randomly shooting and throwing smoke grenades at enemies. People firing flares off so that we could see where the enemies are and like know where we need to shoot. Everyone's just yelling in a local chat. Enemies east. Check the rocks. They're moving around in the rocks. It was so good. I miss that. I miss that about gaming. The actual camaraderie. It's so weird that Hell Let Loose has it. Despite the company behind it constantly screwing up updates. Clean these up and we'll be good. I'll just gun through all the glowing and I'll be done my Raptors. And we might start paint maybe tomorrow. Maybe. I will need to base them off screen because I kind of want to figure out what basing we want to do with these guys. So my plan was to pick up Arc Raiders, but I don't know now. After playing in the Server Slam, there's this different air around the game, so I don't know. Maybe we avoid. Maybe not though. I was okay playing it solo. It's kind of fun solo. Way less stress. Way less stress than Tarkov. Like I kept running the free runs, the ones where it gives you like a random starter loadout, and you can just do that as often as you want. Whereas Tarkov has like, you know, you have X amount of scav runs and X amount of time you can run. But you can just do free runs, like as much as you want. We could probably stream it over on Twitch a little bit. I do want to still play Dispatch today. We might play it tonight on stream because it's only going to be probably 2 hours. It's okay. I don't like episodic games though. I'm still like, I'm in that boat where part of me wants to play it, part of me wants to just wait until the final episode releases, because it does genuinely feel bad to get like 2-3 episodes in and then have them be like, wait till next week. Because you don't know, man. This is similar to the Telltale setup. And the Telltale setup would sometimes go awry, where they'd be like, well, wait till next month for the next episode. And then like a week before the next episode, they're like, I guess wait another month for it because we're running behind on our schedule. And you're like, oh no. No, yeah, this new... Something's going on with anime. It's like... I feel like they're just overspending in the first couple episodes to bring people into it. Like, they hyper front load their budget. And then they try to make it work for the later episodes. So, Mondays, I want to say. There's a anime... It's either Monday or Tuesday. There's an anime about an assassin. It's an isekai. He goes to this world, but there's kind of like built-in politics to it where the king that summoned them is planning on using them as more of like a tool for war and stuff and controlling other nations. And the opening fight in the first episode of that anime to kind of show you where it's going was so good. It wasn't long, but it was like people running along the roof of a church. The animation was matching the 3D element of the world around it. It looked so good. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the best. And then the next couple episodes didn't really have a lot of fighting in it. Like, it sort of did, but it felt a little like flat and clunky. I was like, uh-oh, this might not end well. And in the fourth, I think the last episode, he fights like an elven princess, and the whole story leading up to like why he's fighting her felt really dumb. And then the fight itself was just so shoddily drawn. And like every element of it was just super flat. No, yeah, the Assassin anime did that too. At one point, he knocks the princess away. And the way they draw it is she's almost like not moving. She's wearing a dress. And she gets launched away, but the dress is like stagnant and stationary. And she kind of like... She kind of just comes in from the side of the screen, stops, and then... It's so bad looking. Which is such a huge disappointment compared to the first fight you get to witness. So I think that's what they're doing, is that they're top-loading their budgets to try to get people to start watching, and then they just don't have budgets for the end. There was the last seasonal arc for anime involved... What was it? It was the water mage. The mage that only knows water spells. Yet again, another isekai, because that's the life we're stuck in right now. And the first things you see when he starts learning his spells look really, really good. Like, they animated it so beautifully. Then he fights occasionally early on, and it looks really good. All the way up to the point where he's in town for the first time after leaving his area. Then the eclipse happens, and an Oni spawns, and is like, oh, I found you. And then they fight in the city, and it is insane. Just explosions... buildings blowing up. It was crazy. It looked so good. And then for the rest of the seasonal arc, they keep pushing this fire mage from another nation as being similar to him, right? And that if they ever met in a battlefield, it would be like the craziest fight of all time. That's what they just keep saying for episode after episode after episode. Final episode hits. He does run into him. There's a misunderstanding. He hurts his friends. And it is the most nothing burger fight of all time. They're just standing on a beach, and you see some like mid to low tier animation of like water and fire hitting each other for a little bit, and then they just stop. I don't know. I think it's partially that they can't manage it, and I think partially there has to be like one of those kind of like how video game studios get information from, you know, the viewership and the people and the players. And at some point, there's got to be information like most people stop watching anime after the first 3 episodes, right? So what you want to do is you top load the best stuff at the beginning in hopes that it keeps people engaged. Because the old system was what we originally would think. Like, you know, you kind of rein it in a little bit near the beginning, and then you save up and use your big budget for like the final cliffhanger, big scene, because this is the thing that gets the people who weren't like necessarily into the story before to possibly either pay enough or be interested enough for a second season to land, or they just all start reading the light novel or manga. Which, that's kind of the goal of most anime, is to move people over to the light novels. So you give them that big thing at the end, and you're just like, yeah, now you're going to want to read it. And they just don't do that anymore. They're just trying to get people in and stick around, only to be disappointed in the final couple episodes. Although it is crazy. Like, anime is getting way too weird in terms of, like, what's viable. Like, Solo Leveling. That's the big one. That's the one everyone's been talking about. That's, like, the big anime. And it lost that company, like, millions of dollars. We're getting a season 3, apparently. But what everyone was saying was, yo, this anime lost millions. And I was thinking about it, because, like, yeah, everyone was talking about it. Everyone was watching it. Have you seen merch for that anime? Have you seen posters or... I feel like they were like, yeah, let's get the anime together. But then they completely forgot, like, the business side of it. Like, oh, let's do crossovers with these, like, video games. Let's license out our characters. Like, they just didn't do any of that. So that kind of sucked. Like, they're just now getting a fighting game for it. A lot of that anime is built around kind of like fundamental Korean ideology, I guess, of like fashion and visual presentation. They could have done things with clothing companies. Like, I rewatched that series, and there were moments in that anime that was straight up like, dude, if that shirt existed and people were selling it, holy crap. There's scenes where he wears a sort of a jacket that's like a high jacket, like it doesn't go down around your waist, it stops at your upper body and doesn't go to like your abdominal region. He wears it in one scene and it looks so like trendy and hip as a design. And yet I mean, I haven't heard that anyone sold that thing. It's so weird. Yeah, where's the solo leveling Magic the Gathering crossover? Come on, let's do it. Give me that Sung Hunter Planeswalker. Oh well. But yeah, I have not been interested in a single thing coming out of One Punch Man so far. All right. Raptor Warrior 1. We're just going to tear through all of this. Raptor Warrior 2 underway. I wonder what I'm going to do with the kill teams I have. I mean, I guess I could like figure out a way to store them just in case new kill teams come out where I'm like, oh, my Legionary could easily be that. Because technically my Legionary could be Nemesis Claw. There's so much crossover between Nemesis Claw and the Legionary that you could easily do that. Which one's that? Is that one that I'm watching? That doesn't sound like one of the ones I picked up. I did start watching what is basically the new Beastars. And that one's a little on the nose. And very uncomfortable. Like I think there's been 3 episodes and I watched the 3rd or something and I was like, this is getting super uncomfortable. Oh, there was supposed to be, God, what the hell was that anime? There was the one about the guy that gets isekai'd into a dating game that he was forced to play by someone he knew. I think it was his sister. And he dies like shortly after beating it. And he goes into the world. And he's like, you know what? I know everything about this world, so I'm going to be an asshole, and I'm just going to go get a bunch of stuff done real quick so I don't have to deal with anything. Like, he didn't want to do it as a dating sim. He wanted to just be a person who carves out a life for himself as one of the most powerful people, but, like, only has a small section of land where he just lives out the rest of his days and doesn't care. But he keeps getting really pissed off at all of, like, the romance tropes that's going on around him. So he starts doing this thing where he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to be the asshole I really want to be. And he just starts, like, fighting all the main protagonists from the game and stuff. It's crazy. And I think there's a 2nd season coming out for it. Trapped in a dating sim. I'm pretty sure it's getting a 2nd. Yeah, it's getting a 2nd season. The cover for it looks ridiculous too. It's just a pure white with some slight gray of the character putting up like a peace sign with a little robot next to him. It looks like Back to the Future. Did they put a date on this? I'm not seeing a date. Oh well. Yeah, there's supposed to be a second season. Hopefully it comes out and is pretty good. Because even though the animation wasn't great for it, the writing definitely made up for it. Because the whole premise of it was he kind of breaks down a lot of like the tropes that come out of video games and things, and sort of like psychologically dismantles them. Which was pretty cool. There's one anime going, though, that surprisingly not an isekai. I know. The Grievous Soul one. I don't know if you've seen that. It was pretty good early on. It's starting to get a little weird, though, now. But it's a fun story focusing on the idea of people who, like, the legends others build for them kind of can get out of control. We need some good, like, conceptual anime, though, to come out soon. Like, where's our Ergo Proxies? Where's our Paranoia Agents? I kind of want to watch something on the scale of Monster. Like, dude, Monster was so good. Not another high school rom-com. Dude, that anime hit. That anime hit so hard. Doing a slice of life rom-com anime, but making the main character a misanthrope. Watching some of his closest friends grow to hate him because they hated that he was right. Because him being right means everything that they hoped for was, like, wrong and false. Such a cool concept. Which one's that? Watching lore videos. Oh, yeah, you've been watching the lore videos of the old War of the Beast. So, you're talking about 40K, right? To my understanding, a lot of the stuff that came out of the War of the Beast is sort of something that Games Workshop doesn't want people to think about as, like, part of the universe. Like, it happened, but they don't really talk about it. Because I think this was early writing, right? Like, this was in the early stages of trying to figure out how the 40K stuff was going to work. Which kind of sucks, because I was really hoping that the universe was designed in a way where, like, as bad things start to happen in it, maybe the orcs would come back. Like, orcs are technically, like, if you think of the universe as a living thing in of itself, right? Orcs are technically like the white blood cells. They're constantly fighting to try to stay strong. They're constantly scrapping with other things to try to, you know, keep them in check and make sure that they're not, you know, resting. You know, you gotta keep your eyes open. You never know when a threat's gonna happen. So that's the thing. And then if ever like a virus shows up that's really, really a threat, the orcs suddenly start becoming oryx again. It's like it turns on the universe's defense mechanism. I loved that idea. And I think, like, War of the Beast kind of leaned into it a little bit. But it was also super just weird. The amount of characters called Slaughter. That's like everything in the Corn book that either has the word blood or skull in it. Yeah, I think I watched one thing on War of the Beasts and was pretty okay not looking into anything else. I was like, I'm good over here. With what little knowledge I have. There's a few books like that. A lot of the old writing for 40K, there's elements of it where you do feel like it's sort of retconned without saying it's retconned. Like, they just kind of let it be. But then something will happen in a later story where you're like, wait, that couldn't happen because of this older book. And they're like, what older book? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, yeah? I thought I could have swore I heard them talk about it as though it was, like, really old. Because now that the the Grand Horus Heresy book set's done, they say they're going to continue forward after the fact. And that stuff was going to be more in the vein of Horus Heresy and the in-between times leading up to 40K. You see the cosplayer? I think it was at like a Japanese cosplay convention, and he won dressed as Sanguinius. He did it. We're so close to being done. Dude, 2015 is enough time for them to be like, don't look over there. It really is. I mean, we're still waiting to hear what happened about the Chaos Space Marines that started showing up in the webway, right? Like, that was a big moment. I remember someone saying, like, that happened at the end of a book, and they were like, whoa, it's happening, and then we haven't heard anything since. Like, why is Ahriman not in the webway right now? Come on, we're all waiting for the scene where Ahriman makes it to the Black Library. And then the Harlequins let him in. And he goes in there and there's nothing in there. Like, that would be the greatest thing of all time, is just like, finally, all the knowledge, and then just the door opens and it's just the laughing god and nothing else. And we all know that at some point all the orcs are going to be like, they're going to see a Imperial Guard who looks kind of like, frickin' never remember his name, Gaz's arch rival, and they're gonna be like, you're him, and then like he's gonna grow a mechanical arm, and then all the knowledge. Which one was it? Yeah, Yarrick. Like, that's gonna happen. They're gonna be like, you look like Yarrick. You must be Yarrick. And then the guy's just gonna become Yarrick. Orcs, the ultimate in retcon technology. Warp Talon? This is it. This is the last of the Warp Talons. Can't wait for them to be like, you can only have one Warp Talon. And then I'm just like, well, I got a spare Warp Talon just in case. random phone call. The Raptors, I do agree, are going to be the warrior, of course, because they do call them Raptor warriors. The thing is the Warp Talons. I think the Warp Talons might also be a warrior option. I think they're going to have different things. Like, I think the Raptor Warp Talons might be a little bit more melee oriented, and then the Raptor warriors might be a little bit more like hold objective oriented, or those might be the ones that pick people up and move them places. At which point having two of them could be really cool. Yeah, the Warp Talons are just dual Lightning Claws. But rules-wise, in the game at least, like the full-scale game, unless they change it, Warp Talons are the ones where if they kill a unit, you can uppy-downy them. So there is kind of an element to them where there's potential of like uppy-downy, right? Nah, Raptors are Raptors, Warp Talons are Warp Talons. The Warp Talons are the Lightning Claw semi-demonically infested variants. Supposedly developed by the Thousand Suns. I don't know. That's where we get to weird lore. Raptors have a lot of weird lore because supposedly they worship a minor chaos god, specifically one that's devoted to speed. But not unlike Helldrakes, Raptors are kind of, or Warp Talons rather, are kind of like the Thousand Sun thing that you don't expect them to use necessarily. Like there's that lore of the one Thousand Sun sorcerer whose entire army is basically nothing but Helldrakes. Currently, the stat block is shifted. Like, there's the two stat blocks, but I don't know what they're going to do about the specialists, right? Because they could keep the standard stuff, but, like, what's the point of the Hunt Master? Is he going to do anything in Big Hammer, or is it just going to be like, oh, yeah, you can just put a Hunt Master and just consider him like a Warp Talon or something? Which could be interesting. There is the issue of the approach right now that the cross-pollination that comes from Kill Team does lean in the direction of, like, where else can you use these units so that you don't feel like you're stuck in one place? So when you get things like the Tank Bustas, right? And it's a remake of Tank Bustas, or you get what is it? Raveners, the remake of the Raveners. Like, that's cool. But then you get things like Sanctifiers. Are the Sanctifiers something you could use in Agents of the Imperium? What's their value over there? And the Raptor approach might be just that if you go Warp Talons, you can take a Huntsman and you can take a Depredator. Because in the, well, maybe not a Depredator. No, yeah. Because in the visuals, which were, I was using the pictures they took, the Depredator does have the Warp Talon upgrades. So there's a shot that the Depredator is a Warp Talon. Just in general rules. That way you can have like a visually interesting looking model, but not have to really be like, all right, here's his stat brick, here's the ability he's going to give them in 40k. Like, that feels a little overblown. And probably shouldn't be done as much as it's been, like, getting done. Alright. The last of the Warp Talons. I gotta figure out how to base these all tonight. Maybe we'll paint them tomorrow. Until then. We might come back to Twitch tonight. If you're not part of the Discord, you can head over there. I usually post when I'm going live. We might go live again on Twitch in like a couple hours and play Dispatch for a little bit. Get the new episodes of Dispatch done. I like where this went. Is this guy dry yet? I might have to touch this guy up. Curse Claw. Is he dry? Oh, he's getting there. The Curse Claw came out really good. I like it. In before his rules aren't that interesting. He's gonna be like he's gonna kind of be the unit that can't hold objectives or anything, and he's like okay at melee, but not great. Just never use him ever. That'll be fun. Well, thanks for hanging out. I gotta get working on getting some food together, and I gotta clean up here because there's all these bits all over the place. And I need to get them into other locations. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. Till next time, guys.